Coach Larry, I want to be like you. I want to play varsity as a freshman. No, you don't. That sounds good, but when was
you
the
don't
last
want to do
time
the
you
work.
hit off of your tee? When was the last time that you worked on your fitness outside of practice? When was the last time you worked on your cold call openers, your overcoming objections, your negotiation? When was the last time you worked on that outside of normal business hours? You're not serious.
Welcome back to another episode of the Revenue Reimagined podcast. I have someone here today who is going to outpace my energy. We have Larry Long Jr., the founder and CEO, and that is not CEO like you think. That is Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises, which focuses on motivational, inspirational, and most importantly, transformational speaking, emceeing, coaching, and training programs. He is the host of the weekly live show Midweek Midday Motivational Minute, the host of the weekly live podcast, the Cold Calling podcast, author of JOLT. And I could tell you from our 5-minute pre-show, his energy blows everyone else's out of the water. Larry Long Jr., welcome to the fucking show, man.
Come on, AJ. The check has got to be in the mail for an intro like that. I mean, you done dropped the mic. Dale's over there smirking. I mean, come on. I'm happy to be here with you.
Dale smirks because we joke that I did about 5 years of radio, so I get to do the intro, and Dale jokes about it every time.
Hey, Adam, I like that. You and I both have the face for radio, so
that's it, man.
Larry, man, thank you so much. We're recording on Valentine's Day. That's why you're all dressed up in your beautiful colors. We appreciate you for living the heart. Having some awesome energy. So as we talk to a lot of founders, and I think one of the things, and I've been super curious, you and I have been friends since the days of Pendo.
You have a friend?
One. Just Larry. That's it.
Just Larry. All right.
What sparked you to start LL Cool J Enterprises and everything that you're doing? What's that origin story? Like, what was in that heart and that burning desire to start your company?
Yeah, so I was a sales leader at Teamworks. I was a sales leader at Pendo, went to Teamworks, sold software to elite athletic teams, and we had 19 people on our sales team. So I led a group. I ran all of our Monday morning meetings, which was great, but my impact was 19 people. Okay. I said, I know that for me, God's plan for me was to impact more than just 19 people.
Not to lead 19 people.
Yeah, 19 people was good, but I didn't come this far just to come this far. I said, and there had been some things brewing. I had been speaking for years, but never charged anyone. And I'm still a big believer that impact over income will lead to income. But just everything with COVID, I had my first paid speaking engagement March 17th, 2020. And that was St. Patrick's Day. I'm not even Irish. I'm not even Black Irish. I mean, they wanted to pitch me because I wasn't wearing green. I said, my drawers are green. They said, we can't verify that. But essentially, when my position was eliminated on March 26th of 2021, I was ready. I was prepared for that moment. Hold up. Someone's at my door. Who is it? When opportunity comes knocking, I was ready to answer that door. I was ready to rock the mic or mics in order to serve more than 19 people. So I've been fortunate. This is my third full year. I primarily work with SaaS sales organizations, software sales leaders, professionals, but I've also had the opportunity to branch out. So it's been great, man.
Adam, you better get that pen and pad ready because there's going to be some stuff like income. You better start writing because you get writer's cramp from this podcast.
Impact over income. I love it. It's something my wife talks about a lot as well. I am extremely money driven, however, but that's another subject for another day. But I think it's interesting, right? You know, we were talking before the show. You said your business is predominantly B2B SaaS, but we were talking about some clients that you were with in the past few weeks that are not B2B SaaS. And a lot of our listeners, and I think just that echo chamber of LinkedIn seems to think that there is not a world outside of B2B SaaS. Like they don't realize I have a friend who sells paper clips, no shit, for Office Depot, and he makes $500,000 a year selling paper clips.
Right.
I'd be bored out of my mind, but there's a whole world outside of B2B SaaS. I'm going to go off script a little here, but talk to me about some of the differences you see when you're working with founders, leaders, sellers from the B2B SaaS world versus what I'll call the real world.
Oh, wow. You talked about the echo chamber, and it's kind of like when you only see one thing, you believe that that's the only thing. Then when you open it up, it's like, wow. I'll give you an example. BTS, Black's Tire and Auto Service. They have 59 locations and counting, North Carolina, South Carolina. They're in the tire business, the auto service business. It was fascinating working with them. And I've still got, we go together. It's a family-owned business, and their core values were around family, around trust, around service. And you could just feel it. They were celebrating 95 years, family-owned business. You could tell because you can get tires from anywhere. But who do you trust?
Commoditized.
Who treats you like family? Really, everyone talks about we're family, but when you start digging in, and I'm calling out some of these SaaS organizations, we aren't really family. It was awesome to see them exemplifying that, living their core values. It blew my mind. So you asked what the differences are. There's some good differences, and there's some opportunity areas, because I can tell you that LinkedIn, they're like, link to? What you talking about, Will?
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity there, but I can tell you that their relationships with their vendors, they had a trade show. Everyone at the booth, they knew them by name. They knew the family. You saw them at the 95th celebration. It really was living the core values. And it was that, I think we call it B2B, belly to belly. It was that person to person relationship that was just, it blew my mind. I said, wow, this is refreshing. My heart overfloweth with joy. And this is something that I can take back to the SaaS organizations. Hey, this is how it should be done.
Yeah, that's super interesting, Larry, because I think the challenge, we get stuck in the world of like the B2B tech world, or you get stuck in a vertical where you get stuck in financial services or insurance tech or whatever that feels like. And what I've realized is if you can go across industries and maybe even across like big industries like B2B tech to auto or like service or whatever it is, you can bring that feeling, that whatever they're learning in that space to another space to change trajectories. I've seen it a lot in like retail spaces into like a new B2B tech, but talk to us a little bit about when you see that change. Like, how do you articulate that back to a B2B SaaS company? Like you were talking, like you found it, but how do you tell the leader, like, you're not doing it right? Like, have you done it?
Now
right?
I'm not from St. Louis or Missouri, but I think they call that the show me state. So in the words of the great philosopher, Mystical, show me what you're working with. That's the best way. I mean, I can tell you until I'm purple in the face, looking like Papa Smurf. But when you actually get entrenched into it and you see it and you experience it for yourself, in the words of the other great philosopher, J.J. Walker, dynamite. I mean, it's amazing. So I can verbalize it. But until someone sees it and feels it and experiences it, because I talked to them over the phone. We did Zoom calls, but I didn't actually believe it until I saw it and I felt it. I was with them for 3 days in Myrtle Beach. I'm part of the family. I am seriously,
would you now bring the SaaS leader to Myrtle Beach? Oh, you see, you are the family.
Yeah. When they say it, they mean it. Like the talk is cheap. They said, hey, we also believe in coaching. They said, we're going to make another one of our core values, coaching. I said, hey, show me what you're working with. And they delivered. So there's just so much opportunity. We hear it in SaaS, the importance of coaching, of training. I'm no Allen Iverson, but we're talking about practice. When was the last time you actually saw SaaS organizations practice? It sounds good, but not. I can probably count on one hand and maybe one finger how many people actually dedicate time to practice, not on a prospect.
Yep.
Come on
Very,
now.
very few. It's this bullshit excuse of we don't have time to practice, or no, we have to go out and like we have to sell and we have to close and we have to produce revenue. And listen, I'm not the biggest sports guy in the world, but at the end of the day, look at every elite athlete out there. Like, do you think they just go to the game and they perform that well? When you're in front of yours, that's your game. So see, we got the pink bat. So if you're not practicing,
rose
consistent
gold,
rose gold,
rose gold.
if you're not practicing arguably every day, how do you expect to be elite? And that, for the record, whether you're a seller, a leader, a founder, no matter what you are, you need to practice. Dale and I are still trying to practice this podcast thing, but I don't know. We're doing okay.
Y'all are doing great. Another thing that stood out, they had a great year in 2023. And talking with the owner, he said, we want to do better. We might be good. We want to be great. We might be great. We want to be even greater than great. Very rarely do you find leaders who are committed to that. He said, hey, we've done well. You look at the numbers don't lie. And we want to take it up 2 notches. And that's why we're bringing you in, Larry. We're all ears. We're open to how do we explore? How do we play with being even greater tomorrow than we were yesterday? That mentality, when it starts from the top, and because people can smell BS from a mile away. Come on now, DZ and AJ. Yep. You know BS when you smell it and when you see it and when you hear it. You're like, nah, I'm not. Something just ain't right. When it is right, it's oh so tight. And I can tell you that Ricky Benton, Lil Ricky Jr., he exemplifies leadership. And I said, this is who I like to work with right there. Some of the other orgs where they're just talking, they're looking to check the box. It's like, oh, that's so tough. And I feel for the employees.
How do you sniff that out? Because what you said is true, right? There's a lot of people who talk the talk. We talk about a lot about this with DEI, right? They'll put this statement up on their website of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. And it's a room of 27 of me, and there is no diversity. I think the same thing comes true when it comes to coaching and a culture of coaching and leadership. Like, how do you sniff that out? And how do you get people, and this is what you do, right? How do you get people to want to listen to you? Because one thing I'll say that I admire, and I'm rambling here for a minute, but like your energy is contagious from the moment we got on this video, and I'm guessing it's the same when you walk into a room. We've all been in rooms with a shit ton of speakers who've been hired to come in and it's like, hi, everyone. My name's Adam, and I'm a former Navy SEAL. Like, no one wants to listen to that shit.
That's right. Twofold. Number one is the questions. The questions that you ask really dictate. You can smell BS when you start asking some good and tough questions. Number two, and this comes from Mama Long. What's up, moms? Desiree Long. I just saw her 2 weekends ago. I was in Maryland. She said, Lil Larry. She still calls me Lil Larry. Your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. So like you said, Adam, when I look at your board, I look at your leadership team, you tell me that you care about diversity, but you're showing me exactly who you are. And I'll take it down a step further. For the individual contributors, yes, that's you and the leaders that say you want to be the best. I've heard it before. I used to own a baseball academy. Everyone said, Coach Larry, I want to be like you. I want to play varsity as a freshman. No, you don't. That sounds good, but when was
you
the
don't
last
want to do
time
the
you
work
hit off of your tee? When was the last time that you worked on your fitness outside of practice? When was the last time you worked on your cold call openers, your overcoming objections, your negotiation? When was the last time you worked on that outside of normal business hours? You're not serious. So it sounds good. And I'll give you a real life example. 6-pack abs sounds good, but y'all saw me. I was just eating some leftover Super Bowl food.
I never had 6-pack abs, ever.
Fried chicken does not equal 6-pack abs. That's a pipe dream.
Larry, and I think the other thing that I truly admire about you, so when I met you at Pendo and we did the talk with Thomas Evans and Lindsey Bogues and like that whole crew. It's the authenticity and the openness and the like asking better questions to get better answers. But the curiosity and the authenticity you had when we would have a conversation, like I don't think people really genuinely, I think people ask questions to hear themselves talk the answer versus ask the questions to get the answer to make it better for the other person.
People buy from people. That's why companies who invest in meaningful connections win. The best part? Gifting doesn't have to be expensive to drive results, just thoughtful. Sendoso's intelligent gifting platform is designed to boost personalized engagement throughout the entire sales process. Trust me, I led sales for a Sendoso competitor, and I could tell you, no one does gifting better than Sendoso. If you're looking for a proven way to win and retain more customers, visit sendoso.com.
That's it. Curiosity. I think they said it killed the cat. Don't send Peter my way. I'm not killing any cats. But I can tell you that curiosity certainly helped the sales professional, the sales leader, the entrepreneur to have success. And it's that genuine curiosity of, I'm seriously curious and I want to know. A former leader of mine, we actually just messaged today, Paul Colucci. I got to give him props. He spoke to my team. This was probably 11 years ago. I'll never forget it. He said, here go my 2 go-to questions. If you're ever in a pickle, here you go. Number 1, walk me through your process. Hey, Adam, walk me through your process of how you get your hair ready for the morning. I'm sure there's a story there.
It's like 45 minutes, man. Like I got to wake up so early to get this done.
We can't all be pretty like Dale. Now, here goes
you.
question number 2. Hey, Adam, what's holding you back from having pretty hair like Dale? Those 2 questions are powerful. And if you ask them in the spirit of, I really want to know, you can learn so much. People know when you're going through your questions, check. It's like an interview.
Yep.
So tell me about your biggest challenges.
Sure.
Okay. So tell me about, it's like, no, are you even listening to what I'm saying? And so often we miss the tone of what people say. It's not, and I've seen the scripts, I've seen the gong recordings. You can see what people said, but how did they say it? Did they say it with confidence? Did they say it with trepidation in their voice? Did they say it where you can tell they care? Did they say it where I don't give a damn? It doesn't matter to me. We miss that art and that science so often because we are like ChatGPT robots where we will be replaced if we don't show our heart and our humanness.
And this ties to everything though, right? Like I'm certainly guilty of it in text message or in Slack of both coming off in a way I don't want to and also perceiving things in a way that someone doesn't mean to say them. To your point, there's no tone. And when you start to go back and then you look and you're like, I'm not one to walk on eggshells, so I just type it. Like there's a lot of things. Listen, like let's just get on the phone, right? Like we need to have a conversation. And if more sellers cold calling or contract negotiations or whatever it is, like don't negotiate a damn contract over email because I'm telling you, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, keep the Twitter fingers to yourself.
Let me give a quick tip for like anyone doing this. So usually when I was training salespeople a lot, I would not train them on feature functionality. I would train them on objection handling. If you know what the objections are, then you can train to the objections. And that's really the business problems that people are trying to get to. They don't give a damn about your blue button or whatever feature functionality ChatGPT is doing for you. They really care about the objections they're trying to handle. And what I tell founders is record them on video in like 30, 60-minute sections, because that incantation that you're talking about, Larry, that excitement around a particular way you deal with an objection, you can't do it in writing. And so I haven't had many founders take me up on it properly, because if they do it properly, the onboarding process should be much easier. Like record quick videos, execute the objections, and they'll learn your feature functionality at some other time. We know you love your feature functionality, but no one else cares.
That's right. They care about the problems. And essentially, I mean, I need to be a sales doctor. That's the way I view it. I need to be a sales doctor. When I go to the doctor, they generally do a soap note. I think I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. But they do a subjective and objective, an assessment and a plan, and they dig in. So how long have you had that cough, Larry? Ooh, they take the tongue depressor, they choke you out. They run the test. We're going to do an assessment. We're going to do a run-up to determine what's the prescription. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Whereas so often we go in, I call it the equivalent of I go into the doctor with a shoulder problem. And he doesn't dig in to understand that I want to be able to throw a baseball with my son when he's in high school. If that doesn't happen, we got a problem. But he just wants to share, well, Larry, I'm the number 3 ranked ankle surgeon in the world. Well, that's great, Doc, but WTF, I don't give a flying funk about that. It's my shoulder. Come on, man. And we do that so often in sales. And it's not just sellers to prospects, but it's leaders to their people not understanding what motivates you. What's your business plan professionally? What's your business plan personally? Do I really care to understand what drives you?
That right there.
How can I expect you to run through a wall for me when you don't even know that I care, I give a dang about you?
But do you? Dale and I talk a lot about, and not you, to be clear. We talk a lot about the difference between a leader and a manager. A manager, my opinion, manages processes, manages systems, manages tools, tells you what to do, checks the box, checks the numbers. That's not a leader. Managers, maybe they care about you, more than likely they don't. To truly be a leader, you have to give a shit. Otherwise, you're going to fail. And I'll tell you, we've all worked for probably great leaders and not so great managers. I love the term you used about running through a wall for you, because my very first leader that I remember told me when I got promoted after I didn't get promoted 3 times, your number one job, and she did use the word manager, but your number one job as a manager is to have your team be willing to run through a brick wall for you. And how could you do that if you don't, number one, give a crap about them, show them you give a crap about them, not tell them, show them. Make it a point to know where they want to go in their career, where they want to go personally, coach them and guide them. So you are speaking my language through and through and through.
I'm gonna give a little secret, and it's not even a secret. I wrote I co-authored a chapter in a book called "The Little Things Are Really the Big Things." It was about my great friend, past boss, mentor, one of the best leaders I've ever seen, Mark Winchester. Before Mark joined the team, he wrote me a handwritten note. He also sent my wife a handwritten note that said, Maria, behind every good man is a great woman. We want to thank you in advance for allowing Larry to take time away from your family to serve us at Intuit Health. Do you not think that my wife loves Mark more than she loves me?
Listen, it's the little things. I'll piggyback off that. So I led field sales for a couple organizations before I got into B2B SaaS. And one of the things I would always do when I would go co-travel with reps, similar to Mark, is I would take my rep and their spouse out to dinner, because your partner spends a good portion of their day talking to me all day long. Right. You should probably know who they're talking to, and I want to thank you for allowing them to do that. So I love that. Mark sounds awesome. Yeah. Dale, take notes.
Hey, yeah.
You've never taken Crystal out to dinner.
Hey, Larry. So I know you've kind of gone through a couple of challenges as you got your enterprise up and running. So give the audience one of your setbacks that was really a set up to be successful. There's a challenge that you have, and when you're going through it, it really is painful, but it ended up being a setup for you to be super successful. And I know you have lots of them, because I know that's your mindset, but help the audience figure, just because you're going through that process, there's a reason for it.
Yeah. The biggest one would be, let's go 2022, Q2, Q3 of 2022. Q1, I killed it. I do look at numbers. Even though I want to have impact, I got to keep the lights on. My book, JOLT, came out, and guess what happened? Just like I tell my reps, I stopped filling the funnel. Houston, we have a problem in Q2 and Q3. I was getting my resume ready. I said, I got to go back to corporate America. Oh, no. But working with my coach, I got back to basics. Hey, Larry, when are you going to pick up that 500-pound phone and call somebody? When are you going to plant some seeds to create opportunities for the future? Well, lo and behold, it's magical that when you prospect and you fill the funnel, you now have opportunities to close business. Mind blown. Larry, what are you doing? So hindsight being 2020, always be prospecting, never stop. We all, and I tried to sell myself this excuse of, I'm doing the work, I'm busy, I'm writing my book. Survey says, nah, that's BS. Yes, and don't ever stop filling the funnel wherever you are. I'll give you this quick example. Unfortunately, there's some cuts going on in B2B SaaS. There's folks that are losing their job. I've been blessed with a network that just blesses me. And folks come to me, hey, Larry, can you connect me to your network? Yes, and the best time if you wanted shade to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Yep.
The second best time is right now. So I will help you, and I want to see you take action to activate, to elevate your LinkedIn brand and your LinkedIn process. You should be connecting with people. Your network is your net worth. We know that, but knowing isn't doing. Don't be like me with the six-pack abs. I got a keg going on. I'm getting choked up. You got to actually put it into play. So that's my gift. I got some other gifts, but that's my gift to the audience.
So let's get right into it. We believe at giving more than receiving, and you are beyond in the community. So tell the audience what else you're going to give them besides that knowledge you just dropped.
Oh man, I am absolutely honored to share for anyone out there that wins this opportunity for a 30-minute coaching call with yours truly. I want to help you. I want to set you up to be your very best. And essentially, you might be good. I believe you can be great. You might be great, but I think you can be wonderful. You might be Mr. Wonderful on the Shark Tank, but you can be spectacular. Let me help you.
Love that, Larry.
That's going to be one hell.
This happened. Adam was speechless.
It's going to be one hell of a high energy conversation. I'm telling you, don't come into this call with Larry Long and sit there and be like, hey, Larry, how are you going to help me? Because that's not going to work. You got to bring the energy if you're going to get the energy.
You better have your seatbelt on, because when I come in the room or the Zoom, woo, it is lights out. I tell you, like LL Cool J said, Mama said, knock you out.
Larry, how many speaking engagements do you do a year? Give or take.
Last year, I was fortunate. I did 60 last year.
Wow.
This year, I'm getting more intentional. My goal is actually 46, and it's a specific number because I've got certain levels of speaking engagements. Last year, I did less low bono and free 99s. This year, I'm moving upstream. I think you say I'm going enterprise, bigger stages, bigger budgets. I'm actually going to Bogota, Colombia in April, the worldwide stage. I get to share the stage with Mr. Mark Hunter, the sales hunter. I'm super excited to be on that stage. And then in September, I'm heading to Bali, Indonesia. Watch out now.
You get your hula on.
You don't like your job much, do you?
I pinch myself every day. Adam, Dale.
I love it.
I know this will surprise you. I used to get sent to detention for talking. I know you're like, no way. Now I get paid. I get paid to speak. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, all those times I would get in trouble in school, I was just practicing.
I love it. You have one of the best gigs in the world. Shifting gears just slightly. So not every speaking gig, I would imagine, is like incredible, where you walk away and you're like, it's not like BTS, right? How do you vet your clients up front to make sure that you don't walk away and you're like, man, like, thanks for the money, but this sucked?
Yeah. Once again, it comes down to the questions and it comes down to research. So I look at their online presence. Let me see some of your videos on IG. Let me see some of your TikToks, what y'all are doing. Oh, y'all are still on Facebook and MySpace? Houston, we might have a problem. Let me see your LinkedIn presence and let me see your leaders, because I'm not the right fit for everyone. Believe you me, if you're not high energy, we're probably not going to be a good mix. If you're buttoned up, hello, this is Larry Long Jr. reporting for duty, that's not going to be a great engagement, and we're going to get some of this. Now, it's fascinating because sometimes folks are, I hate to call them hostages, but they don't want to be there. Their company is forcing them. I got to hear this stupid guy speak, and I'm not for those folks. Like, I don't, if you're for everyone, you're for no one. I'm for the folks that are hungry. You talked about it. They're taking notes. And I challenge folks, don't just take notes, but let's take the notes and let's turn it into action. All I ask you to do is do one thing. If you do one thing from our talk, mission accomplished.
Fall forward.
Love it. Love it.
Cool. Let's kick off the end of this thing with some rapid fire, because we know you got energy. You got some rapid fire. I think I know this answer, but I'm curious if it's something different. If you weren't in tech and not speaking, what profession would you be in?
Oh, goodness. Come on now. That was easy. I'd be a baseball player. Oh, MLB baseball player.
I knew that was coming.
I would be a golfer. And Dale, you see my golf game. Tiger Woods is my cousin, and he's my long lost cousin Adam. Long lost.
Just like your ball.
Yeah, they call me Larry. Hit it in the woods, but boom.
Do all these props travel with you, Larry?
I wish. I'm the Black Gallagher. Watch out now.
That wasn't my rapid fire. So you mentioned that you were with Mama Long a couple weeks ago. What's Mama Long's best meal that she makes?
Ooh, best meal. Oh my goodness. It's got to be Mom's spaghetti. I'm no Eminem. Mom's spaghetti.
All right. I like it.
Was not expecting that one.
Nope. Got to throw you for a loop.
What's the first app you check when you wake up in the morning?
Oh, you already know the answer to that one. I'm not sponsored by LinkedIn yet, but yeah, I roll with LinkedIn. I got problems. But actually, LinkedIn, I got to say thank you to them. 91+% of my business comes from one-to-one relationships on LinkedIn. So the platform has certainly, it's done me well.
Larry, are you early bird or night owl?
With a mug like this, I don't need no beauty sleep. I struggle. And it's my job to wake up the kids in the morning. It's funny. I go to wake up my son. I'm like, get up, Trey. And I go take a little nap in his bed. I'm like, wake me up when you go downstairs.
I love it.
Trey's a beast, man. I see you guys practicing and playing all the time. Like, talk about someone that does, like, puts the work in. Like, I see you guys at the field, and mad respect for Trey.
We've been blessed, and I won't tell him this, but he broke my heart. No more baseball. Baseball tryouts are today. He said, Daddy, I'm not going to play baseball. I'm going to focus on soccer. He's almost 6 foot tall, so I got to look up to him. I said, dude, you better take that bass out of your voice. Until you pay some bills around this house, you can't be talking, hello, Daddy. I said, nah, you got to take that bass. But I love him to death. Little Lucia, my 10-year-old, she's got me wrapped around her pinky. I've been #too blessed to be stressed. Beautiful wife, Maria. Life is really, really good.
Yep.
Good for you.
Last one, man. Last one. Dream vacation destination for you and your beautiful bride.
Oh, goodness. Well, we're going to Bali, Indonesia. We're super excited. Have never been. But I would say a place that we've been before and want to go back, Costa Rica. La Pura Vida. And hey, I've got props for everything. La Pura Vida in Costa Rica. Oh, I keep it near and dear to my heart. Unbelievable time. Woo.
Awesome.
Larry, this has definitely been the highest energy show we've had. I looked at the timer and I couldn't believe that we'd gone through 30 minutes. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your story. people can find you on LinkedIn. What is it? Larry Long Jr. What LinkedIn.com /in/
Larry Long Jr., the man with multiple mics. You'll probably hear me before you see me, but I would love to connect. Let me know if I can ever be of assistance, if I can ever serve as a resource. Happy to help.
Larry Long Jr., thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate having you.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.